There's a verse in your Bible right now that the enemy has been hoping you skip past your entire life. Not because it's confusing, not because it's hidden in some obscure book nobody reads, because the moment you actually use it, something shifts. And he's been counting on you never finding out which one it is. But what if I told you there are 5 of them? 5 verses sitting in your Bible collecting dust that the devil is more afraid of than your prayers, more afraid of than your fasting, more afraid of than your worship. And the reason he's afraid of them isn't what you think. It's because these 5 verses don't ask him to leave. They command it. So the real question isn't whether these verses work. The question is why you've never used them like they do. And by the time we get to the 5th one, you're going to understand exactly what's been standing in your way. And it's not who you think. Let's start with the one he hates most. Revelation 12:11. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto the death. Read that again. It doesn't say they prayed him away. It doesn't say they ignored him until he got bored. It says they overcame him. Past tense. Done deal. And the method wasn't complicated. It was something you're sitting on right now and calling embarrassing. Your testimony. The thing you don't talk about. The relapse. The affair. The diagnosis. The year you don't bring up at family dinners. You've been treating it like evidence against you. But heaven's been treating it like a weapon you refuse to pick up. Here's what nobody told you. The devil isn't scared of your silence. Silence is exactly what he's counting on. What terrifies him is the version of you that opens your mouth and says it out loud. Because the second you do, you've turned the very thing he used to try to bury you into the thing that buries him. So why haven't you said it yet? What's the story you're still protecting him from hearing? Because there's a 2nd verse that answers that, and it's going to expose something most Christians get backwards. James 4:7. Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Everybody quotes the 2nd half of that verse. Almost nobody does the first half. And that's exactly why so many believers scream at the devil their whole lives and watch him not move an inch. Here's the part that's going to sting. You can't resist what you haven't actually surrendered. If there's a room in your life you've locked God out of, your relationship, your temper, your phone, your money, that room is still open territory. You can bind and rebuke and declare all day long over everything else. But he's not leaving through a door you left cracked open on purpose. So the question isn't, why won't the devil leave? The question is, which room you already know he's still living in. You know the answer already. You just haven't said it out loud yet. And that's exactly why the next verse is going to feel personal. Luke 10:19. Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. Jesus didn't say he'd fight for you from a distance. He said he gave the power to you. Present tense, already transferred, which means every time you've begged God for strength you already had. You weren't asking for a gift, you were asking permission to use something sitting in your hand the entire time. And this is the part that should unsettle you. If the power was already given, then every year you spent living defeated wasn't because God withheld something. It was because nobody told you it had already been deposited. So who benefited from you not knowing that? Because he did. Every day you didn't know was a day he didn't have to fight you for it. Which brings us to the part of you he's most afraid you'll figure out how to protect. 2 Corinthians 10:4-5. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. He doesn't need to touch your body if he can quietly move into your mind. And he doesn't move in loud. He moves in one thought at a time. Disguised as your own voice, you'll always struggle with this. You're too far gone. Nobody would love you if they knew. Give a thought like that enough nights alone with you, and it stops sounding like an attack. It starts sounding like the truth. That's the part that should scare you. Not that he attacks, that you've been agreeing with him and calling it self-awareness. So ask yourself right now, which thought have you let live in your head so long you forgot it wasn't yours to begin with? Because the 5th verse is the one that tells you what happens to every weapon he's ever aimed at you since, and it's not what you've been told. Isaiah 54:17, "No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn." This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord. Notice what it doesn't say. It doesn't say, "No weapon will be formed." It doesn't say, "You won't feel the fire, the betrayal, the diagnosis, the setback." It says none of it will finish what it came to do. Which means every attack you're currently standing in the middle of right now was never designed to end you. It was designed to make you think it would, and stop there. So if it hasn't prospered yet, it's not because it wasn't real. It's because you're still standing on a promise you haven't fully activated yet. Here's the part that changes everything you just heard. 5 verses don't do anything sitting in a Bible you don't open. They don't work because you know them. They work the moment you say them out loud, over the exact situation trying to bury you right now. So say it. Not later tonight. Not when you feel ready. Right now. Out loud. Wherever you are. I am armed with the word, and no weapon formed against me will prosper. Type it in the comments so hell can read it too. I am armed. And when you're done, don't just scroll past this. Send it to the one person you know is still standing in a room they haven't let God into yet. This might be the only weapon they've ever been handed,